Welcome to Legacy Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a recent protest that has erupted in the northeastern state of Manipur in India. So we are going to discuss in details what is the reason behind this current unrest, what is the conflict that is going on between different tribes and non-tribal ethnic people in the Manipur. So first of all, to understand the context of today's issue, recently, the Manipur government has issued a very suit at site order. It has directed all the district magistrate to issue a suit at site order in extreme cases because of the escalating conflict, escalating ethnic violence due to the tribal solidarity march that was planned a few days back. Over 9,000 and even now they said that 10,000 people have to flee the state. They are basically displaced from their home. However, this is not the first time Manipur has witnessed the unrest. It has been restive since February, that means almost 2 years back, 2 months back, when the BJP-led government launched an eviction drive seen as targeting a specific tribal group. Now, why this eviction drive was launched, that we're going to discuss in the later part of the video. Similarly, violent clashes broke out at various places in Manipur during the course of a march that is called as Tribal Solidarity March that was planned by an organization that is called as All Tribal Students Union of Manipur against the recent High Court directions to the government. So, Army and Assam Rifles, they have carried out flag marches in the area that is hit by the violence to make sure that the peace and tranquility prevails in the region. So, the main reason behind this violence is obviously the Tribal Solidarity March. So, why Tribal Solidarity March was carried out? What was the reason behind that? So, basically, this march was to oppose a long-standing demand of the community, the ethnic community of Manipur that is called as Meitei community, which are not a tribal group. So, they wanted to be included in the list of states scheduled tribe. So, in this regard, recently when the we can say stakeholders or representatives of Meitei community, they went as a petitioner to the Manipur High Court. Manipur High Court asked the government to consider the demand, to look into the demand, and also because of this, the directions have been given by the High Court that the state should pursue a 10-year-old recommendations. Look at the 10-year-old recommendation where it was recommended to give scheduled tribe status or grant scheduled tribe status to the non-tribal Meitei community. It is due to this order of High Court, the historical tensions that were brewing on for a very long period of time between the Meitei community and the tribal communities, it actually came into fore, and that has caused the entire clash and violence to break out. Now, to understand the classes, why the Meiteis and non-Meiteis are clashing with each other, why the Meitei community and the other tribal communities are clashing with each other, we have to look at the demography and the geography of the Manipur. Now, Manipur is largely a hilly state with a small valley in the central part where the capital of Manipur, Imphal, is situated. So, if you look at the overall ethnic composition or demography of Manipur, in the central valley of Manipur, which is basically a region that covers almost 10% of the entire state's area, you have Meitei people that are living mostly, and Meitei people make up about 56% of the entire ethnic community of the Manipur. On the other hand, the entire other area that is hilly areas, in the hilly areas you have the tribal people such as Nagas, Kukis, Jomis, Pangals. These people are living, and these people have already got the tribal status. They are the part of this, they are included in the scheduled tribe group. So basically what we can understand that in 10% of the plain area, that is the valley area, the Meitei community lives, which make up 56% of the population, and remaining 90% of the area are the people who are living with who make up 35% of the entire state's population. So that is the one issue of concern here. Apart from that, why Meiteis want tribal status? That is also very important to understand, because that is the root cause of the entire conflict. So, Scheduled Tribe Demand Committee of Manipur, also called as STDCM, it has started to raise the demand of including to be included in the scheduled tribe status for the first time in year 2012. Before, Meiteis were not so interested to become a member of scheduled tribe. And the reason given behind this demand was that they are just going and looking at the historical data, historical status of the Meiteis, and they say that if you look at year 1949, the year when merger of the state with the Union of India has happened. So before this merger, Meiteis were already recognized as a tribe by the British government, and thus to preserve the community and save the ancestral land, tradition, cultural and language of the Meiteis, it is important that they also be granted the scheduled tribe status, because obviously under the Constitution of India, there are a lot of protections that have been provided to the scheduled tribe, their land, their areas, their homes. And thus also they say that Meiteis people also are in dire need of constitutional safeguard against outsider. Now see, these outsiders are very, very important. These outsiders which we are talking about, they're not the outsider means other tribal communities of India itself. They are talking about the illegal immigrants. They say that they are coming largely from the Myanmar, Bangladesh and the nearby border areas. And they say that because of these outsiders that are continuously encroaching in the Manipur, they also require constitutional safeguard because they are rapidly losing their small part of land, a small piece of the state's land in the valley of Imphal. So they say the community has been kept away from the hills, while the tribal people can buy the land in shrinking Imphal Valley. That is also one concern, because what we have discussed in the beginning, that Meiteis people are living only in 10% of the valley areas, and the other population group are living, other demographic group, ethnic groups are living in the 90% of the state's area. But this 90% of area are largely occupied by tribal groups, and you cannot go and buy a land in tribal areas. But tribal people can go and buy a land in the Imphal Valley. So that is why Meiteis people are concerned that if this goes on for more longer period of time, say 20 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, what will happen? Meiteis will be left behind with a very, very small parts of land despite making a higher percentage of the state's population. So if this is the concern of Meiteis, then why there is opposition to the demand of Meiteis by other tribal groups? So we have to understand that though Meiteis are living in a very small part of the Imphal Valley, only occupying 10% of the state's area, they have a clear demographic and political advantage. How? Because out of the 60 constituent assembly seats that are part of Manipur Legislative Assembly, 40 of these seats are only in the valley area. And most of the time in these 40 seats, it is the Meitei people who are elected and then they are sent to the to the legislative assembly. Remaining 20 seats are only given to the other tribal community members. So that is what the other tribal members say, that they have a demographic and political advantage. Demographic because they're making up the largest percentage share of the population, and political advantage because they are electing the highest number of the MLAs from the constituent assembly. Then second, you talk about already more advanced than them academically in other aspects, because Meiteis people obviously have been at higher, they have developed in economic sense, in social sense, in political sense, and also in educational sense at much higher rate as compared to the other tribal members. So they already have they already have, we can say, upper hand over other tribal members of Manipur. And that is why the other tribal community feel that if Meiteis also get the status scheduled tribe, so now there will be no such difference between the tribal and non-tribal, because Meiteis will also have reservation in the job. They will also have reservation in the government educational institutions. So there is a fear of loss of job opportunities by the other tribal community members. Also, what will happen once Meiteis get tribal status, they can go and buy land in tribal areas. Then they will be able to acquire land in the hills and push the other tribals out because of their numerical advantage. And also, on the other hand, it is said that if you look at the language of Meiteis, that is the Manipuri language, which is largely spoken by Meiteis, so this language is already included in the 8th schedule of the constitution. It is one of the 23 languages recognized by the schedule 8 of the constitution, and large section of the Meitei community, which is predominantly Hindu, followers of Hindu religion, are already classified under the scheduled caste and other backward caste class category, and they already have access to the opportunities that is associated with this status. And that is why the now demand or recent demand of Meiteis to be included in the scheduled tribe does not make any sense. If we try to understand the words of some of the experts on this matter, so they are clearly saying that to the hill tribal people of Manipur, this demand is not just only a demand for getting a social scheduled tribe status, rather it is a ploy that they believe is being played out to attenuate the fervent political demands of the Kukis and Nagas who want to have the separate state for themselves. That is why Kukis demand for Kuki land, Kuki state, Nagas demand for greater Nagaland that should consist of a part of Manipur and a part of the other state such as Nagaland and even Myanmar as well as a tacit strategy of the dominant valley dwellers to make inroads into the hill area of the state. So that is how the other tribal people are seeing this demand of Meiteis. And also they believe the claim that Meiteis need state status to protect their culture and identity is self-defeating, because Meiteis are a dominant group controlling the state and its apparatuses, and that is why they do not have to protect their culture from some other outside forces. They can very well, in their given power structure, can very well take measures to preserve and protect their culture and heritage. The state has been actually protecting their cultural, political, and economic rights for a long period of time, and as such, there is no threat, no endangerment to the culture and identity of the Meitei group of people. So this is something that has been told by the Thongkholal Haukip, who is a professor, assistant professor at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. Now, Obviously, one of the reasons behind the unrest, obviously, we have discussed the directions given the High Court to look into the matters of declaring Meiteis as a tribal or scheduled tribal people. But there are some other reasons of unrest as well. For example, we have discussed in February month itself, kind of unrest has begun. That was because state government since last year, August 2022, has started to claim 38 villages in the Chura, Chandpur, and Noli district of Manipur. If you look at the map here, this is the Chura Chandpur region that is in the southern part of Manipur. So state government has given a notice, sent a notice that almost 38 villages in this region are illegal settlements and the resident of these villages are encroachers. Now, what is the effect of this? Effect of this notice of the state government. So because of this, the government has started to evict the people from their homes, from their lands, and this eviction order issued by the state government has also caused a kind of unrest and discontentment among the non-Meitei tribal population. Also, on the other hand, many pro-government groups, they claim that this is not because they're losing their land, they are being evicted. But mainly what is happening is that they have a vested interest and they are trying to scuttle the effort of the chief minister, that is Biren Singh right now, his crusade against the drugs. So basically what happens in the Chura Chandpur regions or these regions, the hilly areas of Manipur, since no other crops can be cultivated easily, a large area used for cultivation of poppy cultivation. And poppy cultivation, as you know, poppy is one of the largest source of drugs that not only affect the India but also many other countries. And its nearness to the Golden Triangle, which is three countries, Laos, Myanmar, and Thailand. The nearness to the Golden Triangle, which is a drug corridor, and the cultivation of poppy actually has caused a large number of the youth population of Manipur and the nearby areas to become a drug addict, and also a lot of criminal organizations, we can say organized criminal gangs, they have started to develop in these areas. They have started to make their inroads in this area to take benefit of the lucrative drug trade. So against that reason, the poppy cultivation were banned. A large area of the landmass which were used for poppy cultivation have been evicted out. And taking advantage of this kind of inflammatory situation, many extremist groups who also want to have a separate state of themselves, such as we have discussed Kuki land. So Kuki extremist group have also been accused of inciting the protesters, and they also claim that the survey and eviction that is being done under the notice of the state government is basically violation of Article 371C, which confers some sort of administrative autonomy to the tribal dominated hills areas of the Manipur. So these are some other regions we can understand apart from the recent directions of High Court, which could have caused such large scale configuration. Now, what is the reaction of central government? So apart from the state operators, state police force that is working continuously to ensure law and order is maintained, the central government for first time in the recent times actually has basically it has actually imposed Article 355 of the Constitution of India. Now, what is Article 355? We have to understand this. So, Article 355 is basically refers to the duty of the union government to protect the states against two types of aggression. Either it is external aggression, that means some other countries is basically making their inroads in the state or basically trying to wage a war against a particular region or particular state of India, or any kind of internal disturbance. So, the state, if they are facing external threat or internal threat, the union has, or union government, central government has right or duty, not only right, but it has a duty to protect the state against such aggression. It shall be duty of the union to protect every state against external aggression and internal disturbance, and to ensure that the government of every state is carried on in accordance with the provision of the constitution. So since this is a kind of internal disturbances that has played out, the central government has imposed Article 355, invoked Article 355, and it has actually appointed to the Chief Minister of Manipur advisor, that is the former Director General of the CRPF. Apart from that, RAF battalions of CRPF, that is Rapid Action Force Battalion of CRPF, who are specialized in handling riot-like situation, they also have been stationed in the state of Manipur to take care of the situation there. So that is all about this particular issue. I hope you understood the reason behind the unrest and what are the decisions that the different stakeholders have made, and what are the stakes or interest of different stakeholders in this particular conflict or in this particular unrest. So that is all about this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you very much.